IEBC, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and a number of civil society groups as they seek to audit just how prepared the electoral body is just 55 days to the general election on August the 8th. Just once again to mention that particular conference will be officially opened by the African Union Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat. But remember, NASA leader Raila Odinga is among those who are expected to speak. It would have been a very interesting day. Both Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta were expected to be in attendance, but we understand the president will not be attending and opening this particular conference. He is in West Pokot for a rally. Of course, that is also Landa for you. Our reporter Elvis Koske is in West Pokot. We'll be telling you later on about what is ongoing there. But my panel is here already, ready to discuss just how prepared Kenyans are and the electoral body is for the elections. A number of issues surrounding the IEBC still, so they will be helping us delve into this issue. David Osiani here is a public policy consultant. Thank you for coming in. We have Dismas Mukua, who likes to call himself a political risk analyst. We also have Alex Gatundu, who is a lawyer, and Dan Manzo, Member of Parliament. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. I believe I am the two-thirds. You're
in danger.
But thank you very much for coming in. I'll start with you, David.
Yeah.
Do you think the IEBC is fully prepared to conduct this election?
Akisa, it's become very hard to tell whether or not IEBC is prepared. I watched yesterday as Parliament raised questions on the tendering process, which has been very controversial.
Yeah.
The award of this tender has been quite a controversy. I think it went down with two directors. And it's very hard to tell. You know, the last time I checked, there were only 35,000 kits ready. They should have been doing a test run of the kits and all. And we have close to 44,000 polling stations in the country. So I wonder what they're going to do with the 9,000 or 8,000 polling stations where they ought to do the test runs, or in how long are these test kits going to arrive. The tender is not yet awarded. The company is giving very weird, very weird conditions. It says you have to pay me 100% upfront before I deliver. And the question
Probably
then is...
because they are aware of the politics of this country and they would want to be safe. It is a business.
So then what happens, Akisa, I mean, if they don't deliver as you had expected? Because then you should be able to hold one end of the stick and tell them you did not deliver as we had agreed. You must redo this. You're not able to negotiate and do that after, once you've paid them 100%. It will be very dicey.
All right.
So I'm not too sure.
Hold on to that thought. We're coming back.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly head over to Embakasi, where that 8-story building came tumbling down last night. We understand for the first time an update is being given since yesterday at 10 p.m. when that building collapsed. The officials from the National Disaster and Preparedness Unit are giving an update. Piers Mwachi there. Let's just cross over there. And
they need also to be demolished later on, but for now they have been evacuated. But we are told there are some people who are also still inside those buildings nearby, which is now is not good for their lives and is dangerous for them, because while this building is being operated on, it may collapse and affecting the neighborhood. Basically, the publics that are concerned and they are here, they have done a good job since yesterday. They have cooperated, they are in the environments, but we are requesting that they give us a space. The space within the operation area is limited. As you are aware that heavy machines have moved on the ground. We started by light machines, we have brought heavy machines. We have everything, of course, but what is limited is the space. We have the right personnel, we have the right equipment, but what we need is a space. The other side of the building, the members of the public have been stoning the rescuers. We are appealing to them, please give them space. We need machines to move, and they're in charge of search and rescue operations, the KDF personnel. He requests that you give him a space to identify other areas nearby the building surrounding so that he can operate from other sites other than this direction. I request that we have many leaders here. We have the RC, Nairobi County, Madam Shepesh. We have the political leadership here working with us. the Director National Disaster Management Unit, the National Disaster Operations Center, and more agencies who are in this operation, including the press. So I request the RC Nairobi, please.
Please introduce yourself again.
My name is Pius Masai Mwachi. I'm the Deputy Director, Communication Officer, and designated Incident Commander on this command.
Mr. Masai, just an estimate.
I said, please, let's get the question after the briefs. We will answer those questions. Let them speak and then ask us the questions, please.
Thank you, Bwana Deputy Director, Mheshimiwa, the media, security officers here, NOC, wananchi who are here. I think this is a very, very unfortunate incident. Of course, it's not the first incident to happen, in Nairobi. We have had many, many buildings going down, either because of they're in the wrong places, because you can see this is a wetland, or the work has not been done properly. We have also many buildings surrounding this structure, which came down last night. And as has been said by the officer here, many people have been evacuated last night, about 128. We still do not know how many people are still under the rubble. We don't know, so we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. You and me will have to wait. Let the experts do their work. We have the equipment. We have the personnel. And I also want to appreciate what the community around here did with our security personnel to move these people out. Unfortunately, I'm told there were people who are not willing to leave, right? The building, right? Despite the dangers. If you look at the other tall building, it's already tilting. There are also other structures. We are going to evacuate these people. The NCA and the instruction to come and mark these buildings and give notices, immediate notices for people to move out. We are going to put security personnel around those areas, to cordon those areas, to ensure that nobody goes back to those buildings. As I said, we have equipment from KDF here, NYS, Red Cross are here. We appreciate this effort. We appreciate what they are doing. The experts are already in, trying to remove the debris. These are delicate kind of operations. So you expect this operation to take a bit longer. So we'll not be actually going to give you the correct information until we are sure that we've been able to access all the corners of the building. So let's be patient. Let's be patient with information. We are going to assist those people who have evacuated. The government is going to assist them, all right, to give them humanitarian assistance. Whatever it takes, we are going to assist our Kenyan brothers and sisters to ameliorate the problem they are going through. So please, let's be patient. Let's work together as we continue removing the debris on that building. So my name is Bana Leparmarai. I'm the Regional Commissioner, Nairobi. I want now to give Mheshimiwa Shebesh to make a remarks, and then you allow us to continue coordinating the exercise. Thank you.
Okay. As women rep of Nairobi, first let me give my thoughts on this disaster, because I think this is like, I don't know what, maybe the 6th disaster. When Huruma happened, we talked to Kenyans and we talked to the people who built, the owners of these buildings. First to Kenyans and to Nairobians, please, when authority comes to you and tells you a building is going to collapse, please move out. It cannot be the business of government to safeguard your life when you yourself don't want to safeguard your life. Some of those who are trapped in this building were begged. The county commander, I think, from the county,
the chief
administrator was here. The Mheshimiwa was here begging them to leave. They didn't leave. Please, that's the first lesson. Second lesson, or the second thing that government must be now committed to do, it can't be lip service anymore. And I'm in government and I'm saying that. It can't be lip service anymore. A building is marked. If the landlord does not bring it down, the law says the government brings it down through the county government. Please let it not be a story anymore. Right next to this building, there's a building that's tilting. In fact, it was being held by the building that has collapsed. What is that building still doing up? What is that building still doing right now, which has people inside? So I am saying it's about time that we also took seriously our own lives as Nairobians. Do not get into a building that doesn't look, that has an X. Go to another building. Buildings are many, houses are many. People have built houses in Nairobi. You may think about deposit, because that's the kind of things that people are arguing, but what about your life? And what about the children who have died in this disaster? I think we can't lose lives anymore. Then I am saying, going forward, on this disaster, I am pleading again with the authorities. The regional commander is here, commissioner is here for Nairobi. The disaster management team that always does a very good job is here. We are here as politicians. I am sure politicians are going to be here because already we are here, already about 6 and 7 of us. I am asking that we do not form a camp to keep people here again in tents being brought for foodstuffs after foodstuffs. My belief is that let them go immediately and look for other places to stay. Because when you form a camp, you form that thinking in the minds of Nairobians that and you encourage charity in this kind of situations. When
All right, that is women representative, the County of Nairobi, Rachel Shebesh, among those addressing that particular update being given by the National Disaster and Preparedness Unit. Remember, one person has just a few minutes ago been pulled out alive, a mother and 3 children still said to be trapped under that debris. And the officials on the ground, they're saying that they're still not sure of the number of people who are trapped inside. That is something we continue to keep our eye on as it develops, even as the rescue operations continue. In Embakasi. Remember, in Eldoret, we'll also be going live there once it's all systems go. President Uhuru Kenyatta has called for a press briefing in Eldoret. Remember, he was supposed to go to West Pokot for a rally, but that has been stalled until he gives that particular briefing from Eldoret. So we are on standby for that. Once the president comes out to make that address, we will be going live in Eldoret to hear what the president has to say. Let's come back to studio with my panel. The theme, what we are discussing at this hour, is elections preparedness. Remember, IEBC is currently at the KICC with a number of stakeholders as they audit whether really the electoral body is prepared for the elections that come in just 55 days from now. And David Osiani here had raised a number of issues, from technology to the awarding of tender, of printing of ballot papers. I will go straight to you, Dan Manzo. You are a member of Parliament, yes. And Parliament has not not given its word whether really this contract has been signed. And we saw Olago Oluoch, the acting chairperson of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, say that, please, the court should not entertain anyone who wants to stop this tendering process because we are out of time. As a member of Parliament, what are your thoughts?
Yes, first and foremost, the meeting taking place now is important because it's a requirement of the law. And it's its own process. What they are doing today is what's supposed to be done under the law. Parliament is going to be adjourned this week. So whatever approvals Parliament need to make for budgets and the monies has to be done this week. And in the event anybody goes to court, and in the event there are judgments to that effect, then that can affect one thing or another. But nobody can be stopped from going to court for whatever action they think something is not right. It's got to be put right. I think IEBC is halfway prepared. Though Kenyans have a lot of faith in it and believe in it and believe they will deliver, we've got to make sure that there's no vote which is stolen, there's no vote which is lost unnecessarily. We've got to make sure their systems are okay. Mm-hmm. We know a lot of Kenyans appear twice or thrice. They've been doing editing. We need to make sure that the 1 million people or so who should not be on the, on the voting list are removed so that the deceased will not vote. and there's no chance of a stolen election.
As a legislator, do you feel uncomfortable that you were bypassed in the signing of this contract between the IEBC and that company that prints ballot papers, Al Ghurair?
You know, the role of Parliament is clear and is oversight, and the role of IEBC is clear. They've got, so long as they have done it properly and there has been a due process of the law to acquire that particular printing contract, and so that they make sure there is security of the ballot, then that's okay. But should we sense or get information that something is going wrong, Parliament can raise it. Remember, even when Parliament adjourns, it can be recalled anytime up to the 8th of August.
All right. Alex, you are a lawyer, and there are fears that someone might actually decide to go to court and stop this with just 55 days. It's all jitters that someone does not think of doing that. The opposition hinted at it, but what does the law say in the event that someone goes to court? How would this pan out?
You can't prevent anyone from going to court. It's their right. And secondly, if the process and procedures put in place, if the systems are not okay, of course, the court is there to adjudicate on the dispute, and it has to do that in good time. But having said that, it is important to note that IEBC has been having very many problems, not of their own making. From the nominations, debacles, that's the primaries, then it has been taken to court several times. But the saving grace is that despite all those problems and handicaps, IEBC has been able to keep timelines as set out in the Elections Act, in the regulations set thereafter, and also in the Constitution. That is the most gratifying fact and aspect of the IEBC, especially as currently constituted. Remember, IEBC last year published the timelines for the electoral process from the nominations all the way to the publication of the list of candidates. There were 21 steps. IEBC has already undertaken 20 steps. So out of 21 steps, we are at the 20th step. The only step that is remaining now is gazettement or publication of the candidates that will participate in the general election. So as far as I'm concerned, I think out of 10, I would give them 8 in terms of preparedness. Remember, when it comes to tendering, this is not a new thing for Kenya. It happened even last general election, remember? Even during Kibaki's time, it happened. It has always occurred. And when it came to procurement of the BVR kits, you remember, we first went for open tender system. Then there were the court cases. There were problems here and there. There was a lot of politicking all over the country. But eventually, Kibaki had to keep his foot down strong and firm. What did the government do? It went for single sourcing, but through the government to government, if I'm not wrong, government to government sourcing, if I'm not wrong. And we were able to do it. And remember, there was no time. Printing of ballot papers is such a quick thing. It doesn't take a lot of time. In fact, I personally will not even worry about printing. You can rest assured, Chebukati has assured the nation. He even assured us as LSK Council that they are very, very much ready to conduct the elections within the timelines, and they have done that. In fact, they have never ever been late, even by a single day, by the timelines that have been set up in the Elections Act and the regulations.
So you're confident that the IEBC is ready?
Very confident.
I want to go to Dismas, but you look like you want to protest what he's saying.
You know, the preparedness of IEBC cannot be anchored on it obeying its timelines. To obey its timelines, to meet them is right. It's like him just telling me that because the groom shows up on his wedding day at 10 o'clock, as he had stated, then he shows up naked when he should be dressed up. That's preparedness. Meeting the timeline is one thing. Preparedness is another thing altogether. And so I think it's good enough that they've met their timelines as stipulated in the law. Great step. But would that amount to absolute preparedness as we face the election? Methinks no.
All right, Dismas.
Number one, it's a shame that President Kenyatta is not at KICC because he's one of the biggest stakeholders. In as much as we want to treat him today as a presidential candidate, but he's the head of state. His presence at IEBC would have been very solid. But maybe for Honorable Dan, he's very happy that his party leader, Nasa Raila, is going to steal all the glory. But when you look at the intimate operations of IBC, as I'm sitting here, I'm very confident that the current commissioners have done a very good job, because they've said in black and white that they're creating for us predictable systems for unpredictable outcomes. And you remember in all the prior elections, everything was unpredictable. The only thing you were sure who was going to win the election. So this time they're doing a very good job. The first thing they've done is to fire cartel members. And we are told a number of senior managers have been fired. The last few days you saw the suspension of 2 senior managers, because they said the senior managers were not playing ball. Like, for instance, the ICT director who was fired, Mr. Muhati, when his colleague from compliance and audit wants to be assured that the systems are working, for some reason we are told the gentleman was not willing to cooperate. So if you get an individual who is not working, then it's important to fire him so that we create those predictable systems. And if I were Chebukati, I would fire everybody who is not willing to play ball. Because, you know, in Kenya, election is about life and death. So that's when they're making very good progress. And then number 2, again, we give credit to Honorable Mwanzo that they've come up with a very solid pieces of legislation. That anybody this time around who wants to play with these our elections, you are going to bear individual criminal responsibility or liability. In the past, if you work for the commission, you would engage in any manner of mischief, and it becomes a corporate responsibility that you have to go and sue IBC. But this time around, everybody has been trained and they've been told it's up to you. If you make mistakes, it's you. You're going to bear for it. And then on the issue of people going to the courts, I would encourage every single Kenyan who smells a rat at IBC to go to the High Court and ensure that everything is sorted out. So that after August 9th, we are sure that we are going to have, or rather on August 8th, we have a very solid election. We don't want anybody to come back and say that 3 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, I smelt a rat at IBC, but I did not want to undertake any kind of litigation. So I think that's very welcome. Okay. But more important is for probably President Kenyatta to make sure that his team is well represented here. So even them, they develop high levels of confidence that everything is going to be very solid. Okay. But the fact that he's absent, I think that's something to worry.
All right. We will come back to this discussion. Let's head over to the KICC, where the Election Preparedness Conference is